and then it's really important to have good training partners. If you're in a gym where everybody wants to kill you and everybody wants to prove themselves better than you, well, honestly, the gym's going to go nowhere. We're a team. We all work together, and we're all trying to get better together.
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the things about Alex. That's what I love now that he kind of like set the precedent too, because you go to a lot of gyms and you have like a lot of like the top guys. They'll be just beating up on everybody, and then some of the guys coming up, they think that's just the way it is. They're supposed to get brain damaged by their UFC teammates, but that's like, and then it's like I don't know, man. I train with the best in the world, and they take care of their partners, So it's kind of funny. Like he said, the boys there, they kind of set the precedent on how to, and they really kind of showed me the way. Because I always thought you had to train. That's how you had to train. I thought it was just, oh, these guys are high level. You got to do it like that.
Yeah, and same as the sparring. I don't believe in hard sparring. I always say, you probably go, between 7 and 8. Sometimes you go to a 9, but you never want to go to 10. I always go, if you're going to go to 10, you might as well have a fight. Risk reward, it's not worth it. And like you said, the guys that are up and coming, how are they going to get better if you're just putting a beat down every time that you spar them? So you got to work together. And don't get me wrong, you've got to, if it's your turn on the block, you're fighting. Obviously, it's all about you. So, the guys that are with you, that they work with you to, they're not going to try and bring you down or hurt you. To make themselves think that they're better than you, and that's what I'm saying about our team environment. And if you go to any of the really good gyms, which I've been lucky enough to have trained at, that's the way they spar. You've got to look after each other. You can't go in there, yeah, even just leg kicks. If I'm leg kicking the shit out of your leg, the next day you're not going to be able to move around because I might have forked your thigh or your calf, and then what are you going to do? You got to limp around for a couple of weeks before it gets better. It's not worth it.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's true, man. You get leg kicked a few times, and then you can't walk for 3 days. And if you're in the middle of fight camp, you went 4 days without being really to get a productive training session because somebody was trying to cook your legs up. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's the head trauma. Getting hit in the head all the time. It's no good. I always go, you don't want to be my age and you can't remember your kids' names, and you're scattered because you've been hit too many times in your younger days. And some guys are too tough for their own good, and they need good coaches to pull them up and keep it there. That, like I said, 7 to maybe a 9 sometimes. And 9 I usually leave it to guys that are inexperienced. Sometimes I like them to let somebody go a little bit harder on them, so when they do get into the fight, they're not shocked by the idea of some guy trying to take their head off. But as a general rule, we don't spar that hard, and it saves the injuries as well.
Yeah, all the big injuries are always going to come from sparring. And it's also important
Yeah,
that the guys don't have ego, especially for the training partners of the high level guys too, because you don't want an up and comer trying to, get one up on the guy, so he can got one up on the champ, and then ends up hurting him or something like this. Just it works both ways. It's super dangerous.
exactly. That's why in camp, you usually got to surround yourself with a core group of guys that you know and trust, and they're not there for themselves. They're there for the team, and the end goal is whoever's fighting. He gets to get his hand raised. And then the next time it's the other guy's turn, everybody reciprocates and everybody works together for that guy to get his hand raised.
Yeah, that's the best way for the team environment to grow together, I reckon.
Yeah. And
Do you guys have a little squad? Do you guys have a little squad right now built up for Volk right now, getting ready for the camp?
yeah. Well, Frankie's here. Craig gets here tomorrow. Brad's here. Jamie Malarkey's here. Plus all the guys from the gym. We've got a lot of good up and coming guys that are just probably on the cusp of getting the call up. So we've got a good little team here.
Oh wow, that sounds like